What's Beattie's studio and what are these videos all about? G'day and welcome to Forgotten Tasmania. I'm John Stevenson. Tasmania has a rich photographic history dating back to the 1840s. Let me show you some things about Tasmania that have been forgotten. From what I've found, the oldest surviving photograph taken in Tasmania is an 1840s daguerreotype of some Tasmanian Aboriginal people. That original photo is in the National Library of Australia. I've seen it with my own eyes. It draws you in, pulling you back to a time we've forgotten. In 1846, Thomas Brown started a photographic studio at 34 Liverpool Street in Hobart. Over the years, his studio and others were bought and sold, handed down, until 1882, when Scotsman John Watt Beattie bought the Anson Brothers studio in Elizabeth Street and called it Beattie's Studio. He was a famous Tasmanian, a wilderness photographer, explorer, conservationist, tourism promoter and museum operator. In 1933, my grandfather Arch Stevenson bought Beattie's studio, and it's been in my family ever since. My father and brother were successful photographers. My part in the story of Beattie's studio starts in the 1970s, when I helped with the Port Arthur slides. We have photos of Port Arthur dating back to a time when it was a working convict prison. I spent a summer working at Beattie's, first developing the Santa photos and then being Santa when my predecessor had an accident with a bottle of whiskey. In fact, I think it was that experience of photography that led me to avoiding it most of my life. I chose a career in computers. I was aware of the Beattie Museum. I remember being there when my father opened it again in 1988, but I confess I didn't pay too much attention until Dad passed away in 2013. At that time, my brother said he thought we should put these on the internet, and I stuck my hand up for that job, not really knowing anything about it or how big a job it would be. There are thousands of old glass plate negatives in brown paper bags with just a 4-digit number and no index. Tasmanian historians are wonderful people. I've met many of them and never found one that wouldn't help me. Many of the photos were damaged. Some incredibly talented Photoshop artists helped me put back what was missing. I was ready to show the collection. I needed a gallery. About that time, Lily and Ron Christie asked me to provide some photos for their tea rooms, and that became my first public exhibition of the restored works. The previous custodians of this collection, my grandfather Arch, my father Bill, my brother William, my mother Jean, and all the staff who worked at Beattie's from 1933 to 1993, they are the heroes who kept the collection alive. Australians aren't so good at singing their own praises. We leave that to our American friends. So it was Ansel Adams who said that the negative is like the sheet music and the print is the performance of that music. I never heard Pop or Mr. Beattie perform the music that is these photos, so I've chosen to perform their negatives in a modern black and white style. When we analysed one of the glass plates, we calculated that there was around 80 megapixels of information hiding in there. With the digital photography, I can bring out all that detail and show it to you. I discovered fairly recently that the only true happiness is to be found in helping others. I get my happiness from restoring old photos. Sometimes those are century-old Beattie photos, but I also do photos for people who ask. I've reunited several families with photos of their ancestors that were previously lost to fading, mould and other disasters. The look on their face when I show them the restored photo, well, that's solid gold to me. So this is my performance of the Beattie Studio collection. In these videos, I'll tell you some of the stories I've uncovered. There are thousands of photos, and everyone has a forgotten story that I just can't wait to tell you. Thank you.